Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with the daily technical update. It is the 3rd of April. It is Wednesday, the day after some bad numbers came out from Tesla with lower sales numbers. So that is that hammered the stock down a bit yesterday, 5%. However, we are still a little bit above the previous low here from earlier this year in early March, actually, only a couple of weeks ago at 160.5, and that's a support you should look out for. As you can see here on the weekly chart on the right side, 160.5 and then 152.37. That was the spike down there back last year, about a year ago. If it takes out that, which I believe it will, but again, it's not an advice or anything, I believe it will, and then we are looking at $110 again at these lows here back from January 23. We are in bearish sentiment on the weekly and the daily chart. We just closed below the 40 threshold yesterday on the daily chart there on Tesla. So it looks quite weak. Don't catch a falling knife is my advice. Yet we also saw the broad markets trading lower yesterday, and we can see here just very a lot of trading going on, but in a very tight range. But we actually did close below the lower rising trend line, and after being rejected at 5,261 twice, and we are just above, just around the lows from this one here. So we can say this is a little mini double top, not really, but still, I think we will see a correction unfolding. Key support 5,057. That should be observed. To keep an eye on that one. And also we have the Nasdaq 100, and I mentioned it several times. We have bearish engulfing formed up here. So key support 17,808 should be observed. So keep an eye on that one, at that support level. In Europe, massive sell-off yesterday, bearish engulfing, took out this little candle there, this little doji there. It also took out this one, so they actually took out the previous 3 days candles or trading, and that is a really bad sign or a bearish signal if you ever see one. So a bearish engulfing below the rising trend line. Key support 5,007 and especially 4,976. That is the key support that could be tested within the next few days. DAX also bearish engulfing like candle here. We have like a doji evening pattern also. Still holding up above the rising trend line. If we break below, well, then we're looking at 17,900 support that should be observed. Amsterdam, really also a top candle here. Market couldn't hold up. Buyers couldn't. Sellers were in control more or less from the get-go and throughout the session. Key support 872. It is the gap area here that could be tested within the next few days or coming weeks or so. CAC 40. Once again being beaten down back from 8,250, spiked up there a couple of times. Now we are back below the rising trend line there. If it takes out that little here, it's not really that strong support. It's just more like, okay, then we could see a larger sell-off down to around 8,000, but key strong support around 7,875. But let's see about that. But a correction likely unfolding. SMI couldn't get above the 11,800. I think it will be stuck range-bound here maybe for a couple of days. Could be testing the 11,536 support. If it takes out that, then we're looking at 11,345, potentially lower. Euro dollar bounced a little bit yesterday from a minor support, as you see. It actually stems from over here back in early February at 107.23. Bounced a little bit. However, we are in a downtrend, and we have this death cross here from the 55 moving average crossing below the 200 moving average. All of the moving averages are now pointing down. We have a negative sentiment. We should see a bearish move towards 107, potentially to 106.60. Cable also in a downtrend, still below the 200 moving average. 125.18, 125. Just above that, we have some fairly strong support here that I think will be tested. We are in a negative sentiment. We should see a push lower. We can also see the moving averages starting to dropping here. So the underlying sentiment is down. Dollar yen still range bound 151.95, 150.85. So that's the range to look out for. We need a breakup from that. And it could be to the upside, as I alluded to yesterday. And also, I did a written analysis that was published yesterday. Check that one out. That the indicators are suggesting we should see a bullish push on dollar yen. And maybe there's a little bit of warning of that coming here from the euro yen. Bouncing from the 50%, interestingly, because usually I would have believed we would drop to the 61.8 retracement and 162.70. We can still do that. It is not unlikely, but it seems like we are bouncing a little bit at the moment. If it starts crawling higher here, well, maybe that was it, and we will have a push higher towards the 165 and the previous peak here. There is divergence, as you can see. These tops are declining, so it's a little bit uncertain, I would say. But if it takes out the lows from yesterday, if it takes it out, not a close, a break, just a break, takes it out, well, 162.70 potentially down to these 786 retracement, 161.30 could be seen. Aussie yen bouncing from just above the 98.20 support, where you also have the 61.8 retracement. Let's see if it can hold. That is the key level to look out for. If it breaks below, and here also say a break, well, then we could see 786 being tested down there, which is 97.60. Aussie dollar bouncing a little bit from 64.85. We're still in a downtrend, still holding on, but as we see, the 55 moving average very close to dropping below the 200. Excuse me. If it takes out, if we get a close below 64, and here we say close below 64.85, well, a sell-off to 64 is in the cards. Jumping on to the Swiss market, the Swiss franc. Strong bounce despite this top and reversal pattern. It's trying to get back up there. I'm not quite sure it will succeed, but let's see if it takes out the peak there at 98.20. Well, what are we looking at? Then let's have a look at the weekly chart. Well, then there's 98.40 around that level. There's a little bit of resistance, but other than that, there is potential to 99.17, which is the 786 retracement of the downtrend here. If you dig out my written analysis about 2 weeks ago or so, then you will also see that I do expect we could move up to there. We are in a bullish positive sentiment on our side. There's no divergence. There's a little bit on the daily, but that can easily be cancelled. Dollar Swiss also a little bit stressed here, 91, where we have some resistance around these peaks here, you can see here, and also the just above the 786 retracement. But also here we are in a bullish sentiment. We are likely to see higher levels. There's no divergence at the moment, so we should see higher levels on dollar Swiss in the coming weeks. But expect some volatility and some corrections. The dollar index. Dollar index 104.88 got rejected just below, or lost steam yesterday. Could test the 104.24 minor support here, but we are in an uptrend, bullish sentiment, potential up to 105.83. Gold spiked higher overnight, early morning, just to the 2,288, bang on, which is the, as you can see here, that is the from this correction here, this volatile market here. So expect a bit of correction lower, I would say, here in the coming days. And what I think I will do, I remove this one because it seems obsolete. So now expect a correction, and then we can maybe get energy for the next move higher. If we look at the weekly chart, you can see how it also reached the 176.4 projection of this larger correction there, and there's a potential up to 2,350, which is 200% of this correction there. We are in a bullish sentiment. There's no direct divergence. There is a minor divergence, or there's actually quite a nice divergence there on the daily. We should see a correction, but we are in a bullish trend. Silver actually finally got above after a couple of tries, I would say, got back above $26. There is potential higher to 26.77, 80, around that level where we had a little bit of resistance, but we are in a bullish trend, and there's positive sentiment. We should see silver moving higher in coming weeks. Moving on to cocoa again, and watch out for some news that came out last night about the government wants to raise the payment to the farmers. I think it was 50% that actually influenced the market yesterday. Ole Hansen, our commodities expert, he will talk more about it later today. There will be a note out on that one. Keep an eye on that one. So we saw some sell-off here in late trading yesterday. Let's see where it opens today. Can it actually push higher, or will we get a correction? 9,257. The lows here from last week is the level to look out for. If it does take out that, then you can expect a sell-off down to around 8,500 level. But we are still in a strong uptrend, but it is stressed quite a bit. If we just touch upon the oil market a little bit, we're still in an uptrend. 87.25 on the WTI. It's likely within the next few days, maybe a week or so, it does move that fast, which is the 161.8 projection of the this corrective ascending triangle-like pattern on Brent crude oil. 90.5 is the key strong resistance that we are looking at right there. Then finally, let's look at the US 10-year Treasury yields, because it's actually above the 4.35 key resistance. Spiked higher yesterday, closed just bang on, and it seems like moving higher again today, picking up where it left yesterday. No resistance until around 4.50. We have 161.8 at 4.45, so I would expect to see U.S. Treasury yields hitting that area within a week or so. Key support 4.17. You don't want to see it breaking below that if you're long yields here, really. And it's not good for the markets in general, but that's how it is. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and happy trading.